To be able to consistently perform at least on a moderately high level, a sufficient quality of rest is absolutely necessary. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. In terms of both physical and cognitive labor, many studies have proven that a short but often break in between challenging tasks will let you perform well for the longest amount of time. With that now in mind, your next question should be, what kind of resting activity should I do to expect this benefit? So please enjoy listening to me explaining this. In this channel, I'll be introducing some interesting and helpful scientific and psychological information that can greatly change your lives for the better by using various scientific and scholarly articles. If you want to know how to rest scientifically to perform the best for the longest amount of time, then please enjoy the video and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Life Study Library, and share to others that this channel exists. Thank you for doing all that, and now let's continue with today's video. Okay, today's study is from the Medical University of Vienna on 2018, which took 66 participants. The researchers of the study have said that despite the act of resting limiting the total time of your work, it allows a 5% increase of the quantity and 8% in the quality of your work. Resting also lowers subjective fatigue and increases your general energy levels, not only right after your rest period, but even after the end of your entire working period. And the act is also associated with improvements of your learning, better memory, improved problem solving, and reduced physical irritations. These findings all show that the act of resting is super beneficial to your overall performance. So there's absolutely no reason for you to not implement this. Okay, I've digressed a little. Let's talk about the detail of the study. The samples were tasked to attend a series of lectures with breaks in between for a total of 4 weeks. Specifically, they had a 20-minute lecture time followed by a 15-minute break, then a 45-minute lecture followed by another break time where the actual experiment was conducted, then a 20-minute lecture followed by another 45-minute lecture. And during the second break, the participants were divided into 4 groups that had 4 different types of breaks. The first group took a break through light exercise for about 12 minutes, which included stretching or jumping, pretty light stuff. Group 2 took a break through relaxing for about 11 minutes by involving in a guided body scan meditation, which is basically focusing on the state of your body parts intensely. Group 3 simply sat and relaxed for about 10 minutes, and Group 4 did not rest and continued studying. Afterward, their levels of fatigue were measured along with a relationship between it and the activities they did. The result went like this. Any of the 4 types of resting activities will generally rejuvenate you, but the one that helped you the most and made you energetic the most was the one involving a light exercise. Also, resting through a light exercise resulted in feeling less fatigue afterwards. Thirdly, and the most important, was that light exercise was the only method of resting that actually rejuvenated a person's cognitive fatigue. As for resting by relaxing, it did better than simply sitting down, but aside from that, it wasn't that much special. So this is pretty interesting, as it seems like using a light exercise as a means of rejuvenation is the best way to rest, especially after a task that tired your brain out. Now, I will admit that the sample size is a little worrying, but regardless, it did show throughout a pretty intricate experiment that light exercise is most definitely the best method of recovery from an intense cognitive task. The researchers have said that by implementing this method, you'll feel better rested than the other methods of rejuvenation, which will allow for a longer flow of effectiveness and productivity. The implementation of this method also means that you'll have a consistent habit of light to moderate exercise, which will also physically keep you healthier for a longer time than regular people. So resting by exercise have a definite long-term benefit as well. But then you might wonder, what exactly should you do as a light exercise to see this benefit? I'll assure you that there's no need to do any intense workouts like the HIIT or burpees and that kind of stuff, even though the effects by itself will be greater. Some examples of light exercise you can do are stretching, light jump ropes, or walking at a tad fast pace. Start doing this for about 10 minutes a day after you feel tired from your day's work, and feel for yourself how rejuvenated you will feel when you go back to your workplace to continue your task. Now, this resting method only works if your work environment allows you to moderately exercise at all, and you'll most likely have more obstacles and opportunities to suddenly start doing burpees in your cubicle. So let me introduce you to another video of mine that talks about a different way to rejuvenate. This video is called "Even Dali and Edison Used It," the sleeping technique that improves your creativity. This rejuvenation method involves you taking naps, yes, but if you can do this correctly, you'll be able to see great improvements in the longevity of your concentration in a really short amount of time. It might seem too good to be true, but you should at least try this technique and see the results for yourself. I've done this myself and it worked marvelously. So you should definitely watch this video. The link is in the description. And then a book you should read is called Why We Sleep: Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams by Professor Matthew Walker. This book is about the actual sleep you'll have at nighttime and how taking that precious time away is in no way a smart decision to make. A lot of people seem to think that cutting your sleeping time away results to an increased productivity, but this book presents evidence that counters this typical message and claims that a work environment where its people can have a sufficient time and quality of sleep that's suited to their own sleeping time will be the ones that will survive in the modern world. It also talks about how people can be grouped into further specific categories of day where they can be the most productive. Simply sorting them into the daytime types and the nighttime types are old school, as there are many more types of people. Knowing when you focus the best and allowing this concept to exist in your company can set the company apart from other organizations that don't utilize this. It also talks about how sleeping and dreams relate to mental health, along with problem-solving abilities and creativity. These are all backed up by science, and it was a really interesting book, so I recommend you read this if you're interested in this area of science and psychology. You've been watching Life Study Library. I've been your host, Lye Yosh. I'll see you in another video. Peace out.